Yeah, we haven't updated that document in a few years. Now we're in trouble. You have someone who leaves the company. You end up losing. Use those as a foundation. You try to run away from it if you can. You make it more efficient to ever had the responsibility to update documents or policies or templates. You know how time consuming and tedious that is. And you know how valuable it would be if somebody or something could help you in that entire process, make things more efficient, and save you a lot of time. That's where AI can step in and help you today. If you're in HR, if you're a small business owner, for example, you know you have to update your policy guide for your employees. That takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. If you're in procurement and you need to update your terms and conditions, you also know how long that's going to take. And if you are in education, you know you have to update your Title II. These are all examples of documents that every single year have to be updated, and they have to be done right so you can be in compliance. Well, AI can help you not just update those documents, but update those documents and do many other things simultaneously. Let me show you how. The first example is going to be updating a policy guide for a small business or for HR. And so let's imagine that we have transitioned from 2024 to 2025, and there are some changes I want to make to that policy guide. And I just don't want to make the changes to that. I also need to update the FAQs for that policy guide, and I need to shoot out an email to the whole company announcing that particular change. And I'm going to ask Chat to do all three of those things all in the same prompt. You don't have to do it in three separate prompts. Let me show you. So the first thing I'm going to do here is attach the documents from 2024. So the FAQs and the actual policy guide. And now I'm going to write a simple prompt. All right, so I attached both those documents, and then the prompt simply has three aspects. One, I explain that I need to update this policy and the FAQs for 2025. I want to include, because it's a California fictitious company, I want to include the California law change, which is AB 2123. That's specifically on the Family Leave Act. And then also, I need to create an email that I can send out to the company announcing this change. Three requests, all in the same prompt with those attachments. And I'm also going to ask that all of the changes be included or be attached as PDFs. So you can see that we got the results back in about 1 second. And so it gives me a quick summary on AB 2123, which is exactly what I asked it to do. It has updated the documents, so it's showing me the verbiage here for the actual documents. And as I look through that, that looks pretty good. And then for the policy guide as well, it's showing me the FAQs, and that looks pretty accurate as well. And then it has the email. I also asked for that. That's perfect. So everything here looks pretty good, and the email looks all right. If I go down to the bottom, I'm still looking for the attachments. I don't see those yet, but it didn't give it to me yet because it asked me a few more questions. Do I want my company logo in there, or is there something else I might want in there? And I could do that if I wanted, but for this demonstration, I'm gonna say, just give me the PDFs. And just so you know, sometimes this happens to me too, where it doesn't actually give them to me. And I'll say this. There you go. So if you ever ask for PDFs and it's like, hey, they're here, and you don't see them, just say, I don't see any PDFs, or where are they? And then it'll produce them for you. So you can see here, you can now take those PDFs, you can go double check everything and make sure it's exactly what you want. If it's not, you can go and edit. We have other videos that show you how to go back and edit, but the whole idea here is I got three very important things back from one single prompt. And if I had to do all that by myself, it would have taken me hours, easily hours. The email by itself, for as short as it would have taken me a minimum of an hour. In this second example, what I'm going to show you is, imagine you're in procurement and there are some terms and conditions that you need to update for the year or maybe the quarter. And I've just uploaded that particular document, and I'm going to make a simple request. And so I'm not even providing the actual verbiage here that I want updated. I could actually provide a cut and paste or another document to insert that. But for the sake of this demo, I'm going to say, look, just update it with some security, software, expectations, and for data privacy. That's what I want. So in just a second, it gave me what that new verbiage can be. And again, if I don't like this verbiage, I can just let it know I don't like this verbiage, and I can highlight what I want it to be changed or whatever I'm looking to do. And I can get what I'm looking for. And I'm going to say that looks just fine. And so it showed me the changes. If I liked it, I can simply say, yep, that's good, or I can make some changes. And then in the end here, it's now going to provide me with the updated PDF that I can now use as that document. Again, something that might take a lot of time and a lot of energy and effort, I didn't have to spend as much time on, and I can focus on the details instead of trying to go through all the blocking and tackling to get to that very end result. All right, so this is going to be the third example. And in this example, imagine you're an educator and you need to update your Title II form for 2025. So you have it for 2024. You also have some activities you want to include in the one for 2025, as well as some of the focuses on AI that you need to add into that document for Title II. So let me show you how to do that all at once. So on this one, I attached the plan for 2024. I also added the activities that have already occurred in 2025. And I'm simply going to give a very simple prompt that's going to ask for a few things. One, it explains what the two documents are. And then it's also going to say that I need an update for 2025. And I want you to include both the new activities, and I want you to add 5 steps regarding professional development and AI competency for teachers. And I want them to be new steps, steps that are not found in the previous year's plan. So you can see, here we go. It let me know exactly what it did, which was kind of nice. And I went ahead and already put it into a document. And I'm gonna say this. And just for the sake of the demonstration, I'm saying show me right now before I look at the attachment. All right, so it's telling me this was new, and that's its way of just highlighting that piece, which that's good. That's not too much detail. I might want to make some changes there. And then here under some of the key findings is adding some things. It also seemed to make up something. So that's one thing that's important. This is why you aren't going to let AI do all of it for you. You still had to review everything. I never told it that 72% of respondents expressed interest. It made that up. But that happens once in a while. That's why, as a subject matter expert, you have to be here. That's why you're so important. And then it did insert all the new activities for the year 2025, which is great. And okay, that's not bad. I can work with that. But what it did was it's simply taking time or giving me back time that I can now spend on improving versus building from scratch, or spending a lot of time trying to go all over the place with the changes. What I love about all 3 examples are these are things that you have to do if you own a business, if you're in HR or procurement, or if you're an educator. You can't get away from it. And so if you can't get away from it, why don't you become as efficient as possible when doing it? Do it faster and do it potentially even better. And that's what AI can do for you. Share this with someone else that also wants to do those things much faster in their life, and focus now on the other things that are much more important at their job. Take care.